Hey YouTube, it's Justin with Alternative Drummer. What you just heard there was my attempt at recreating the Alex Van Halen drum sound on the Simmons Titan 50. Now, Alex Van Halen is without a doubt one of my favorite drummers of all time. When I was a kid, I would listen to Van Halen like every single album that they had over and over again, and I just loved the way Alex played. I listened to him so much that actually it really just became like a subconscious influence on my playing. Like recently I've been going back and listening to Van Halen again and like stuff that I haven't listened to in a while, like 5150. And there's like stuff all over that album that I just subconsciously rip off all the time in my playing. And one of the things that makes Alex Van Halen so amazing, and I'm sure you know this already if you're watching this, is his really unique drum sound. His snare drum sound, his toms, everything had a really unique sound. And the sound that I went for on this was actually the sound that's mostly featured on 5150 and 1984. I would say even more so 5150 because 1984 he had some rototoms, which I really can't do on the Titan 50. But I'm able to do everything else. Some of you out there might not even realize that Alex Van Halen used Simmons drums on 1984 and 5150. And 5150 especially, the bass drum and all of the toms are all Simmons sounds. And only the snare drum and the cymbals were acoustic. On 1984, it was mostly the same, except for he did have some rototoms on 1984, and I think maybe an acoustic floor tom that he mixed in with the electronic drums on that album. But they were largely electronic sounds. The bass drum and most of the tom sounds are Simmons. And the Titan 50 actually has a lot of those sounds in it that you can kind of build your own Alex Van Halen kit. Now, when I was going through the samples on the Titan 50, I noticed that there was a snare sound titled AVH. And when I hit it, I was like, that kind of sounds like an Alex Van Halen sound, and I think that's kind of what they were going for that. So I had to tweak it a little bit to make it sound even more like Alex, I think, and I'm going to show you how I did that and how I set up the toms and the cymbals and everything. So I'm going to show you how to program this on the module itself. If you have the iPad app, that's probably a little bit easier to do it, but I know some of you out there don't have iPads or iPhones, so I figured I would just show you how to program it on the module itself. And it's pretty easy to do, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, you can see here my preset named Alex. So what I'm going to do is show you all the different settings and samples that I selected to create this. Okay, so let's go ahead and press Edit Select. And it's already on the snare setting right here, but you can see AVH-SN. And if I tap my rim, AVH-RS. So that is the snare sound. And I'm 99% sure that's what they were going for. Now, you do have to edit it a little bit. So what I did, let me tap the middle again, is in the decay, I set that down to -25 on mine because I felt like the original sample was just a bit too long, too much sustain. And I did on the rim, not quite as much, but -17 on the rim. So toms, let's hit tom 1. Tom 1 is kind of weird because I think they actually misnamed one of the samples in here. SDSV Tom 4 actually sounds like Tom 1 to me. So I went ahead and set that as Tom 1. And then if I tap Tom 2, SDSV Tom 2, 3 is Tom 3. Now 4, there is no Tom 4. So I set this one to Tom 3 as well. And then I just went to pitch and set that to -4. You can see right there. So if I go through all of them again, here's Tom 1, here's Tom 2, Tom 3, and Tom 4. Okay? All right, so now let's talk about cymbals. So hi-hat is set to Peisty, 14-inch, open, close, and pedal. So that was just basically the cymbal that was already pre-selected on the user kits. So I just left that. Crash 1 as well, I think is just whatever was there, which is the 17-inch Zildjian, or 19-inch Zildjian rather. And then for my ride, I actually didn't use a ride. I just set it to another crash. So right here you can see we have the Zildjian K Dark 18. Too bad there's not more Peisties because Alex was only a Peisty user. He never played Zildjians. Well, that's not true. He would play Zildjian hi-hats sometimes. I definitely saw videos of him playing Zildjian hi-hats. But everything else was always Peisties. But anyway, this 18-inch sounds nice, and I use that as my ride cymbal. And then for my, if you have the expansion pack, I use a 22-inch China for the Crash 2. Now, I do believe I pitched, no, I didn't. I left that how it was. So the pitches are all the same. And that is pretty much it. Oh, the bass drum. Forgot about the bass drum. So let's hit the bass drum. Now, here's another one that I had to edit a little bit. So I used the SDSV kick. And then for decay, I set that down to -29 because, again, the original sample is just a bit too long sounding, too much sustain, and it just gets in the way of the mix. So definitely do some decay on that one. And then I also did some panning. So let's go to my pan, which actually is here in mix mute, and I changed some of the levels too. So if I hit the snare, that's center, bass drum is center. Tom 1 is left 25. Tom 2 is left 10. Tom 3 is right 10. Tom 4 is right 25. Now you can set this however you want. That's just how I wanted to do it. Maybe that's a bit extreme. And then cymbals, I panned a little bit too. There's my crash 1. There's my ride, which is another crash. And there's my China. The reason why I didn't use a ride is because there were no rides in here that I thought were pingy enough to sound like an Alex Van Halen ride. And a lot of times he would just, ride crashes anyways. So I figured having just a third crash was a better option since there were no really pingy rides. And am I forgetting anything? I think that's all. It's really easy. All right, now that we finished with that, what I'm going to do now is show you guys a song that I recorded that's kind of like my really poor attempt at making a Van Halen sounding song. Forgive me, I'm definitely not nearly the musician that Eddie or Alex are. But, I just figured I would do something in the style, sort of Van Halen. And I recorded every instrument and then I played the drums to it. So here we go. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, that's going to be all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. What do you think about the drum sound? What do you think about the Titan 50? I think it's a pretty cool kit for the money. For entry-level electronic drums, I think it's the best one on the market at the moment. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all really soon. Have a great day.